Well, that's unfortunate because my day's been kind of crap so far, so hopefully this will cheer me up. Hello and welcome back to more Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair, where in the last episode, we began the class trial for the 4th chapter of the game, and despite Nagito's insistence on being the worst creation in the world, the mystery itself is incredibly interesting and creative and ingenious to unravel, so hopefully they round out the trial in a nice way, and it all comes to a nice, satisfying conclusion, even though I'm pretty sure we already know everything about how the mystery went down, but at this point, I've just become numb to it, which is unfortunate, but, you know, it is what it is.
I'm trying to force myself to be more energetic, or else my mental state won't be able to keep up.
That sounds like a great idea. Force yourself to be more energetic than you're capable of. That sounds good, right?
My heart's thumping like crazy. I might as well have a laid-back, so what attitude and go ahead with high energy. Yeehaw! But be careful that your batteries don't run out for various reasons. And just like I say each time, don't forget to save frequently.
You say each time, but it's meaningless because as we learned with the logic dive bullshit in the last trial, the game will just kick you back to, like, it doesn't restart the trial or anything. There is no penalty for losing in terms of, like, losing progression, so there's no point to doing it frequently.
I never expected the funhouse itself to be the ultimate weapon. Oh well, let's just press on ahead. Is it really alright to accept a situation so easily? I mean, that's not what's important. The thing that's really important is the killer who used the building structure. Like, who's Mechamaru's murderer?
Tanaka!
Is it really okay to believe the building is the weapon? Nagito said it, you know.
Yeah, well, irrespective of the source himself, the logic behind what he's saying is foolproof, so it doesn't really matter who said it.
It's such an important moment. I don't want to die either.
At this point, it's too mentally taxing to point out every single time he contradicts himself, because that would be literally every sentence he
What happened
speaks.
to the bastard who kept saying how much they didn't mind dying?
Especially when other characters do my job for me and point it out.
That's right. There was a time when I thought I could become a stepping stone for your hopes,
But then the writers decided to give up and write me, you know, however they... You think maybe they just give the scripts to some new guy every day? Like, every day when they were developing the game, they would give it to someone else. Like, alright, today's your turn, Bob. Go have fun writing Nagito. And that's why it's just a jumbled mess, because, like, he's written by a million different people all day long.
I sincerely retract that remark.
Retract?
I'm disappointed too, you know. If this was a murder for the sake of hope, I'd happily sacrifice myself.
You say such falsehoods, per usual. There is no such thing as murder for the sake of hope. Murder is simply murder. Forcibly sacrificing others for one's own desires. Even one as diabolical as I would avoid such actions.
I see.
It's fine. Let's just leave him alone and find out who killed Coach Mechamaru as fast as we can. Just so you know, it's not like I'm getting hungry or anything, you know.
Akane! You were drooling waterfalls?
Again, not a new thing. Nagito, as usual, I can't tell what he's thinking. I have no idea if he's serious or not.
If the killer used the building structure, why don't we think about how they used it?
How they killed Mechamaru.
With fall damage!
It might be better if we clarify the cause of death first, don't you think?
Fall damage! Nekamaru's cause of death. Yeah, we know. We already know what it is. He died by falling.
I see. That's it. I think he might have died from falling.
Glad it took an hour to come to this conclusion.
Died from falling?
If the funhouse's secret is that it's a structure where both towers and houses are vertically connected, then the killer made use of its height and caused Mechamaru to die from falling.
Are you saying they pushed him off? Where'd they push him off from?
No, they just tied him to the doorknob, and then the alarm caused him to shake off the doorknob, which broke that, and then caused him to land on the pillar.
I don't know yet.
Don't just make things up when you don't know the method.
No, but we do know the
Where in
method.
that building would you even be able to push
You
someone
wouldn't.
off in the
You
first
wouldn't be
place?
pushing someone off. You would.
It might be possible in the tower. You could push him off the 4th floor when the elevator is on the 1st floor.
Did you forget how the elevator functions? When it's on the first floor, the door on the 4th floor won't open.
Saying he died from falling is truly incorrect. You should burn in the flames of hell.
But my gut is going crazy right now.
If Nekomaru died from falling, where did the killer shove Nekomaru from? If I'm going to reach the truth behind this incident, I need to solve that mystery next. Okay? I mean, that's not... Like I said, at this point, I already know everything, so it's not... I almost feel like... I don't know, I just... I don't know. I don't know that saying I wish I didn't figure it out. Like I don't want to, because that implies that I stop thinking, and that's not a thing I want to do ever. But I do get the sense that I would probably feel more impact if I. But see, but then I would just, the other thing that I would say there is that like the Ace Attorney series. I was able to figure out a lot of the things that happened in that series earlier than the game probably intended to. No, there's no moving object in there. You don't need that because you just have to shut him off. Like all you have to do is shut him off and he wouldn't be moving around. So anyway, so what I was saying, the Ace Attorney series had a lot of plot twists that I was able to figure out earlier than the game wanted me to, but there was always something that I didn't. Like, there was at least one or two things that were the big reveals that were saved until the very end that I didn't figure out until the game wanted me to, or at least, or slightly before then. So, like, it's not, I guess it's just the difference between Danganronpa is very clearly not trying to be challenging in any discernible way outside of the bullshit gameplay mechanics. In terms of core mystery writing, it doesn't want you to figure out anything for yourself, so I guess it's just a difference in how they wrote how two different teams wrote two different types of games with the same premise, which is interesting to think about. But basically, the point I'm getting at here is it's like, I get a sense I'd probably be more engaged right now if I didn't already solve the whole thing ahead of time. But it's not like this, like that's not a new thing for me when it comes to these types of games. It's just that the Ace Attorney games are better at pacing out clues to make sure that you can solve things early, but not literally have the whole mystery tied up in your head before you get to the ends. I don't know. It's a complex topic.
If Mechamaru wasn't moving inside, the elevator sensor wouldn't have detected anything.
Could it be his sleep mode?
When Nekamaru's goodnight button is pressed, all of his functions shut down, and he enters sleep mode. If he's in sleep mode, the elevator sensor wouldn't have noticed him, right?
I see. So that's how...
However, even if they moved the elevator in that manner, Nekomaru would have just moved along with it.
Not if you tie him to the doorknob.
There would have been no drop for him to fall and die from. Yes?
That's
No.
what I was about to explain, before Kazuichi interrupted me. Silence, pest!
Now you're calling me a pest?
Yeah. See, he's surprised because he expected to be called a pest a lot sooner than this. Way to create the drop inside the elevator while Nekomaru is still in it. Jackie seems to have an idea, but what way could that be? It's pretty simple. Just tie him to the doorknob and then set the alarm for 7:30 a.m. And I'm guessing we're gonna need the... It could be any of these things. Any of these things could be the thing that that we need to use to prove it.
You can cause the drop within the elevator.
So you're telling us all to think about the arrangement, right?
That arrangement is... The hammer is suspicious.
No.
Isn't it about time we went over the pillar again?
We don't need to... No, wait, think about the arrangement. No, that doesn't matter. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Floor, it seems suspicious.
There we go. Yep, there we go. There we go. That's what we need to talk about. Because the wire explains how he was tied up to the doorknob.
Have straight marks on it?
Also, I find the game has an illusion of difficulty in the fact that there's the gentle, sorry, is it gentle, kind, and mean? What are the three difficulty settings? I know mean's the maximum. I think gentle might be, I don't know. It's the easy, medium, hard settings. Gentle, kind, mean, whatever they are. I think it's like you have more truth bullets available to choose from when you are in mean mode, because obviously the lower the difficulty, the less options you have, in the sense that on lower difficulties you only have one choice, and it's like, hey, that's the thing you gotta present, there you go. Whereas in higher difficulties it's like, hey, it could be any of these things to prove your case. Which one is it? I don't know. but that doesn't really matter because almost every single time, the one that it auto-selects for you, because it has to automatically load one into the chamber, and the one that it automatically loads is almost always the correct one, so it's kind of like, what's the point in that case?
That might have been where it got scraped by the wire.
Is that the same wire that was tied around Mechamaru?
The tip of that wire was tied into a loop. If the elevator moved while that loop part hung from the doorknob...
If they did something like that, he would have been suspended in midair.
That's right. He was suspended in midair.
Huh?
The killer tied up Mechamaru with the wire while he was in sleep mode. Tied the tip of the wire into a knot and hung it on the doorknob to the 4th floor. With that, they moved the elevator from the 4th floor to the 1st floor of Grape Tower. And suspended Mechamaru in midair.
That's right! He was so well hung! Kinda like...
You better not finish that sentence!
The killer took advantage of the elevator's unique feature. Only the floor moves. By doing that, they created a drop so Mechamaru could fall to his death.
Too easy.
Oh, great. Oh, great. Now we get to hear the ingenious words of wisdom from Kazuichi.
There's no way you can make him fall and die with just that. Why? If Mechamaru is suspended in midair like that, then how do you get him to fall?
Very easy. Just set his alarm clock timer for 7:30 a.m.
If he's suspended in midair, he won't die if he doesn't actually fall.
Just set the alarm clock so that he'll wake up and then try to free himself, which will then cause the sheer weight of that will then cause the wire to break. Yeah, there you go. Just get the clock's alarm timer out.
Suspended Mechamaru from a wire. How would they make him fall? There's no one in the tower to push him off. There's no way they could do that.
You don't need someone to push him off because we have. You have to set the.
It's possible that he fell on his own.
What? Mechamaru fell on his own? Mechamaru should have still been in sleep mode, right?
Nope, he was not because he was woken up from it by the alarm clock.
What do you think would happen if Mechamaru woke up while he was suspended upside down in midair?
What are you saying? Like, how would he even wake up?
He has an alarm inside his body. As long as it was armed, it would have deactivated his sleep mode. Which means the killer set the alarm before they suspended Mechamaru.
If you woke up from an alarm and realized you were hanging upside down and had no clue why, if something like that happened to you, you would start panicking a lot, right? Instinctively, your body would start moving. Mechamaru probably did exactly that.
And then, in order to make it fall from the force he was generating, the wire was hung on the tip of the doorknob so it would easily slip off. In actuality, the scrape marks caused by the wire were near the tip of the doorknob, right?
But Mechamaru didn't fall because the wire came off, right?
He fell because the entire doorknob came off.
When Mechamaru awoke, he must have struggled much more than expected, which caused the doorknob to break off.
Was that unexpected for the killer too?
Well, that's probably it. If they knew it'd leave behind evidence like that, they would have at least tried to do something to cover it up.
The killer didn't expect the doorknob to come off. The reason that even happened was because... if that's really what it was, then that's the clue Mechamaru left for us to find.
So that's how Mechamaru fell to his death.
Do you finally understand now?
Yeah. It appears it's just as Miss Sonia said.
It appears I'm wrong again because I'm an idiot.
I'm just a pest. No, I'm not just a pest. I'm a total fucking pig.
Well, at least he's finally becoming self-aware about it.
Isn't that right, Miss Sonia? If I'm a fucking pig, you can say
Never mind. Every time I think he's gonna have a moment of growth, the game just rips it away from me. It's like, oh, you thought he's gonna become a good person? Nah, that's not how this works.
No, I believe you gave your all.
Hey, why aren't you teasing me anymore?
Oh my god.
This guy, he gets off on this.
So thanks to that alarm, Mechamaru ended up falling while he was still hanging upside down. That doesn't mean he just crashed straight into the floor. Of course, you know that too, right?
Yes. It doesn't mean Mechamaru crashed straight into the floor. The moment that he fell to the floor, the only thing I think he collided with the pillar. But cola came out of his... okay.
I see!
When Mechamaru fell to the floor, he ended up colliding with the pillar. Isn't that it?
Finally, the pillar!
So that's how the pillar shattered, and why oil was spilled all over the place.
Also, it doesn't bode well for Tanaka's safety that he's positioned directly next to Akane, because when we prove he's the one who did this, oof, he's not gonna last he's not gonna last much long when seated directly next to her.
See, I told you the pillar was the weapon. My gut was totally right.
Yes, but the method in which you chose to arrive at that conclusion was fundamentally flawed.
Well, the pillar was a bonus. It's not even clear if the killer intended that, or if it was just a coincidence.
Yeah, because to be clear, the fall would have killed Mechamaru anyway.
At this point,
But that doesn't counter what she said, because the fact of the matter is that is what happened. Is that he did land on the pillar, so it was the thing that killed him. So it doesn't really matter if the killer intended it or not.
Then what about the alarm? I'm positive the alarm was set for 7:30 a.m. And if we map it out from there...
His alarm was set for 7:30 a.m., but the Tanaka set all the clocks back to make sure you all wouldn't be out there in time.
Baby gangsta.
Stop calling me baby gangsta!
What'd you just say? Did you say the alarm was set for 7:30 a.m.?
You didn't check it yourself? Nekamaru's alarm was set for 7:30 a.m.
Nah, that's impossible. Because even though I slept in a little, I still got to the tower at 7 in the morning.
Now that you mention it, so did I. There was no way I could be late for Monokuma Tai Chi, so I left for Grape Tower before 7 a.m.
And if we found Nekomaru's body there, it would have been before the 7:30 a.m. alarm went off.
Except for the fact that all the clocks were deliberately manipulated.
Here's yet another contradiction has been birthed.
He has not talked this much in any of the class trials. Even if I didn't know, if I didn't know before the class trial that he was the killer, my gut would have been pointing to him immediately as soon as I saw him talking this much.
How were you able to discover Nekomaru died at 7:30 a.m. when you went to the tower at 7?
Because the clocks were all messed with by you.
That's what I want to know.
Another mystery I don't understand. Seriously, it's just one after another. Welcome to Danganronpa. But I can't choke up at a time like this. Just a little more and I'll be able to reach the truth. This should definitely be a clue to breaking through this contradiction. Yeah, it's just the clocks. That's the key to this whole thing. Good night, account, wall clock, contact you later. We're probably gonna need the radio clock for this one. So I'll get that queued up.
We headed for Grape Tower before 7 a.m., I am certain.
But the alarm inside Nekamaru's chest was set for 7:30 a.m.
Mechamaru died because of that alarm, right?
This time of death and the time the body was discovered. One of those must be an illusion.
Killer probably did some tampering.
Yes, he did.
He probably messed with the clock inside Nekomaru's chest.
Yep,
That's gotta be it.
been a while since I got screwed over by the purple words of death. That was
We headed for Grape
nice.
before 7
Just
a.m.
But the alarm
they
inside
sent
was
2
set for
waves
7
of bullshit at me that time. Just when I thought it was clear the first time, they sent another wave out at me. Yeah. I thought I was gonna be able to get above it. I love this. Oh, my favorite. Okay. Hopefully this time we'll get it done. Surely this time, when I make it past... Okay, just get rid of... There we go. Shot too high this time. What is this, the 3 little pigs? Shoot too low, you shoot too high. Hopefully, surely this time I'll be able to nail it right in the thing. I mean, to be fair, it's been a long time since I've been screwed over by the stupid purple words of death. But it doesn't mean there's not a problem. There we go. There we go.
No, the clock inside his chest was a radio clock, so it would have been impossible to mess with.
So you're saying there's no way the killer could have tampered with the clock?
Maybe the clock Miss Sonia saw was the one that got tampered with.
The clock inside Grape House?
No, I checked all the clocks inside the funhouse.
Oh, that's what I asked you to do. So you really listened to me and checked all the clocks.
Oh, I already forgot that I told you to do some pretty important investigating,
And
even though that happened like an
because
hour
of
ago.
that, I can confidently declare that all the clocks had the same time displayed.
Which wouldn't matter if they were all tampered
If
with.
there's no possibility that the time was tampered with, then we must doubt that human's testimony.
Please believe me, we are not lying.
Then maybe it's a misunderstanding?
I never misunderstand. I'll crush you into dog food.
Uh-huh. That's a funny joke. This time-related contradiction, I don't think I should doubt the testimonies. I should doubt the clock. There's no mistake that something was done, but what was it? Perhaps we've overlooked something. Maybe we're misunderstanding something. Think. If I focus and think, I should be able to find the answer to that mystery. Let's think. We have one clock that can't be messed with, and a bunch of clocks. Oh, great. More logic dive, my favorite. We have one clock that can't be messed with, and a bunch of clocks that absolutely can be messed with. Golly gee whiz. I wonder what happened. Do you think maybe they messed with the clocks that can actually be tampered with and left the one that can't be tampered with alone? I pressed triangle. I pressed triangle, game. What are you doing? Okay, well, I guess we're back at it again with some more logic dive, some more super fun logic dive gameplay. Because that's, I'm sure that's, I fell through the floor again! Oh, you saw that, right? I managed to overshoot the blue ramp, and then instead of colliding, what did they understand? The time. Good thing I didn't have to move for that one. What did they understand? They misunderstood the time in the building. I overshot the blue ramp, but instead of actually landing on the thing, because it's not like I missed the jump. If this game's collision detection were anything other than completely broken, then I would have actually landed on the thing, but it didn't let me. Like, I just phased through the floor yet again. The player model touched the green floor and then just fell right through it, because floors are quite a complicated thing for this game. Which clock was tampered with? Both clocks were tampered with. No, wait, no, they weren't. Jump. Okay. I thought it was asking me, which, like, whether it was, when I read which clock was tampered with, I thought the options were going to be Strawberry House's clocks or Grape House's clocks. Which of those was tampered with? And obviously the answer was both, because they all display the same time. I was incorrect. The question was it was an even dumber one than that, and, what the... Okay, if you weren't in the exact right place, you were screwed there. So I was triangle game. The answer was even, sorry, the question was even stupider, because the question was which clock was tampered with, the one that literally couldn't be tampered with, or the one that actually could be tampered with. It was even stupider than I thought. So that was my bad for assuming the question was at least slightly competent. But you know, that's my mistake in the Danganronpa game. Ah, see, this is what I thought was going to be asked. Which house at the wrong time? Both houses. There we go. There we go. See, if you had asked me this question before, I would have gotten it right the last time. And we made it to the end with 17 seconds to spare, I think.
All coming together. You said you checked all the clocks inside the building. Isn't that right, Fuyuhiko?
Yeah, none of the clocks had the wrong time.
But what if all those clocks have been messed with?
What? All the clocks?
So even if you checked all the clocks inside the building, there's no way you'd have noticed it.
I see. So the killer messed with the time inside the whole building by changing all the clocks.
So that's what it was. There's no way I would have noticed that.
This is truly fantastic!
Now's not the time to be pleased. More importantly, how much was the time off?
She's right, that's the main problem. I need to clarify about how much the time was off after the killer messed with the clocks. But definitely the next mystery, I'm going to reach the truth in one go. Okay. Make your arguments. Kane's account, Fuyuka's account, Con's elevator. Well, considering the fact that Akane's account's loaded into the chamber already, I'm gonna go ahead and guess that that's what we're gonna need. Especially since she's the only one who heard the noise definitively, so she'd be the most reliable person we have to figure this out.
It's clearly 7:30 a.m.
The problem is, what time would 7:30 be? In our time.
Are there any clues that can be used to narrow that down? If only I heard the sound when you fell.
Well, Akane heard it.
I agree with that.
That's right. We should have heard the sound he made when he fell. Wasn't it that rumbling noise?
Rumbling? I thought it was just an earthquake, so I went back to sleep. Was that the sound from when Nekomaru fell?
Well, a huge body fell from the 4th floor to the 1st, and the pillar fell with it. It's obvious we'd hear the impact sound.
We heard that noise too.
It was when we were gathered at the Strawberry House Lounge. What is it, Sonia?
Oh, well. That sound everyone heard? I did not hear it at all.
Huh?
You probably didn't hear it because you were sleeping.
I could not sleep at all. I was awake the whole night with hunger pangs.
There's nothing to worry about. What's important is that rumbling noise anyway.
If we use that rumbling sound as a reference, we might be able to figure out how much our time was off.
I heard that sound probably around 5:30 in the morning.
And therein lies the discrepancy. You have a 2-hour time difference.
You can tell?
I instantly woke up and left my room. And that's when I saw the clock in the lounge.
Excellent work, Akane.
If that rumbling sound when you heard it, now we're gonna ask you to do basic elementary school math. What's 7 minus 5? 2. We dealt with preschool shapes in the last episode. Now we're dealing with elementary school math.
We heard the sound of his impact at 5:30. That means our time was off by 2 hours.
This is a mind-blowing revelation.
2 hours? That much?
We were starving pretty badly. There's no way we would have noticed.
Plus, the funhouse has no windows. And there weren't any Monokuma announcements either.
However, for what reason did the killer alter our perception of time?
So that you wouldn't rush to so that the tower would be open so that you'd be able to kill Mechamaru and they wouldn't rush there for the Monokuma Tai
The
Chi.
reason is obvious. So they can lure out just Nekomaru.
They're out only
If you
Mechamaru?
messed with the clocks and used a specific thing, you definitely get Nekomaru to the tower alone, right? From there, the killer's plan was a splendid success. That's all it means.
Besides messing with the time, the killer also used a specific thing. If they were trying to lure out only Mechamaru, then that specific thing would be Tai Chi, yeah.
See?
That's it. The killer made use of the Monokuma Tai Chi activity in the morning.
How did they use it?
We were required to go to Great Tower every morning at 7 a.m. for that activity, right? But if they messed with all the clocks inside the building, what would that do to us?
We wouldn't be able to attend on time. That wouldn't affect Nekomaru. His radio clock had the exact time.
That's right. In doing so, the killer was able to lure him to the tower by himself at the precise time.
And when I witnessed Nekomaru early in the morning,
If I recall, you witnessed Nekomaru around 5 a.m. And if that time was also 2 hours off, it should have been 7 a.m. Yeah, that's pretty much it. At that time, he was heading over to Monokuma Tai Chi, right on schedule.
I see. Now that I think about it, I realize what Monokuma meant when he said those words.
Too early! He didn't even ask you yet!
When you said everyone, you were including us, right? We thought we came to the tower on time, but in truth, it was way past the meeting time.
Ah, jeez! That's, well, how should I put it? What was it? You know, tripping over a foot, or something like that.
Are you talking about tripping over someone else's fault?
Wrong! Too bad!
Liar! I'm right!
That's not it! It's incorrect!
That's definitely the correct answer. You always get so stubborn like this.
Let's just ignore the peanut gallery. Now that we've found out how the killer lured Nekomaru, the number of suspects has drastically decreased.
Hey, why would that decrease the number of suspects? Don't be a friggin' liar!
You'll know I'm not lying when you listen to what Fuyuhiko's going to say next.
huh? What the hell do you mean?
You witnessed Nekomaru going toward the tower. Did something else happen after that?
Are you talking about that alarm?
Alarm?
A little while after I witnessed Nekomaru, the clock in the Strawberry House lounge started going off. Plus, it was just before that rumbling sound occurred. That's it. So that's what it is. If Nekomaru died when the rumble happened, then whoever doesn't have an alibi at the time is the prime suspect.
Really? Was there anyone who didn't have an alibi at that time?
I remember now. The sound was so loud I couldn't help bolting from my room. But there was one guy who never left the lounge. We were both on the same floor. It's pretty weird that bastard never came out of his guest room.
Which means that person does not have an alibi for when Nekomaru fell?
Who is it? Who's the bastard?
He's right next to you.
It's whoever doesn't have an alibi for that time, right? Well, I mean, so the game wants me to pick Nagito because he's the one of all of the people who doesn't have an alibi. for that time. Where even is he? Oh, here he is. He's stuck between Ibuki and... Can I pick Nikon and... Can I pick... I don't want to try it because I want to actually beat this today. But you think if I try to pick one of these people, the game would let me, or would it just tell me to bug off? I don't know. Anyway, I'll explain my thought process after this. But they want me to pick him because he's the one who they believe doesn't have an alibi. But there's another reason why I think I know how they're gonna rectify this. But I'll pick him for now because that's what the game probably wants me to pick.
The one who wasn't there. It's you, right, Nagito?
That's right. Nagito wasn't there. It was just me, Gundam, and Fuyuhiko.
You didn't come out, even though the alarm was going off like crazy. You weren't in your room, were you?
If that's the case, where were you?
Please, say something.
If you don't hurry up and answer, I'm gonna...
If I may be frank, even if I wanted to go to the lounge, I couldn't.
You couldn't? What do you mean?
It's merely the foolish talk of baby.
Not only did I not hear the alarm, I never even heard that rumbling sound.
You couldn't?
You're definitely fucking lying.
However, that is also true for me. It is obvious that I did not hear the alarm in Strawberry House. But I did not hear the rumbling sound either. Is that not strange? I mean,
So,
everyone else heard
in
it.
case you haven't figured it out, the way they're going to rectify this, because this is what I wanted to explain, but the game kind of forced my hand with the stupid timer, because you have to pick within a certain amount of time. So basically, the game wants you to pick Nagito because it's like, hey, he wasn't there, he has no alibi, da 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 da. But what they're about to, obviously we know it's Tanaka. So what they're about to do here is it's going to be Nagito, Sonya, basically the people who are in deluxe rooms. None of them heard the rumbling sound. Why? Well, because they were in the deluxe rooms, and the deluxe rooms, as Monokuma told us, are soundproof, which means they wouldn't be able to hear anything. However, Gundam Tanaka was also in one of the deluxe rooms, and yet he was one of the people who immediately ran to the alarm clock when it was going off, which isn't something he should have been able to do if he were truly in his soundproof room, which means he would have had to have been in the hallways returning from the tower after setting up Mechamaru to be killed. That is how they're going to rectify this, and I'm guessing that's going to be what leads us into the final confrontation against Gundam Tanaka.
To be honest, it's not just them. The same goes for me too. I was in a pretty deep sleep, so I thought that's why I couldn't hear it. But it wasn't that. I probably couldn't hear it at all.
Couldn't hear it? What does that mean?
You still don't know. Think about what the three of us who didn't hear a sound have in common, and I'm sure you'll figure it out.
The only people who didn't hear the rumbling noise were Nagito, Sonya, and Chiaki. Secret is, what do these three have in common? Could this also be the secret that points to the killer? Yes. Yes, it is. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, Hangman's Gambit. Oh, I can't wait to spell out. Oh, fun. Oh, I can't wait to spell out these two words. Oh, this won't be a pain at all. Okay, here we go. All right, number one, there's that. This definitely won't take an insanely long amount of time. I have no idea what you're talking about. Still no E, really? Okay. Get out of there. I hit the button game. I definitely hit the button game, but okay, you do you, I suppose. You do you. Give me that L, thank you, and I'll keep this handy. Please be a U somewhere. That's convenient for me. That's extremely convenient for me. Okay, that works out pretty nicely. I didn't get there fast enough. I'll hold you here in case that happens. Nice. What did that hit? There was nothing there. Hold on, question mark. What the? Okay, there was nothing there. It just that letter just got spawn killed. It spawned onto the screen and immediately died somehow. Which is interesting. You're gonna collide with each other, so we'll do that. That works out nice for me. 2 O's. Right back to back. Oh god. Oh, that's a lot of things. That's a lot of things. How did none of them get hit? How did not a single one of them get hit in that entire thing? Okay, that's nice. That works out pretty nicely. I managed to avoid any of those things they're getting hit. Okay. And then for the... Oh, of course. Give me the S, and we're done. Deluxe rooms. Whew. That was close. We came very close to death there many times.
Nagito, Sonia, and Chiaki, the three of you were staying in deluxe rooms, right? If I recall, the deluxe rooms are...
The reason we could not hear the rumbling noise...
That's right. It was because the deluxe rooms have superior sound insulation. You actually noticed that. Nice catch, Hajime. Are you using your ultimate reserve corps student talent? Now then, you guys must understand by now, right? The true identity of Nekomaru's killer.
Hold on a sec. Why does that lead to who the killer is?
Why? Well, that fact just now is a very important clue, and a decisive factor in identifying the killer. Decisive factor?
Somehow I feel like I understand what Nagito means. The killer among us. The killer who murdered Mechamaru. And now that we've pointed out the contradiction, now we can finally select Gundam Tanaka.
You're the only one!
Gundam, there's something I want to ask you. When the alarm rang at the Strawberry House Lounge, you rushed over there too, right?
What's wrong with that? If the bell of catastrophe rings throughout the night, it is the universe's providence to stop it.
Why were you able to hear it?
Hear what?
I mean, you were also staying in a deluxe room, right? Nagito was staying in a deluxe room in the same house on the same floor, and he couldn't even hear it. So why were you able to hear that alarm?
Now that you mention it...
Gundam?
There's only one possibility. You weren't in your room at the time. That's why, even though you were staying in a deluxe room, you still went to the lounge. Am I right?
Gundam, you have some sort of explanation, right?
Gundam probably couldn't return to his room because of Fuyuhiko. Me? After you saw Nekomaru heading to the tower, you stayed at the lounge for a while. Am I correct? Until the moment that alarm started ringing, right? If you were in the lounge for that long, the killer who had left earlier obviously wouldn't be able to go back.
Even though Mechamaru's murder was a death trap that utilized the alarm in his chest, the killer still needed to prepare the murder in advance.
Like putting Nekomaru in sleep mode and tying him up with the wire.
In order to do that, the killer needed to be waiting for Nekomaru at the tower. Which means when Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru, the killer was already at the tower.
And once they tried to go back, they couldn't because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge.
In their original plan, the killer should have returned to their room before the alarm in the lounge went off. And they were supposed to stay in their room. They weren't planning to come out and go to the lounge.
Which means they wouldn't have heard the alarm or the rumbling sound, thus proving they were in the room, just like us.
The best case scenario would have been if those two in the lounge had gone to check the deluxe rooms. After all, if they personally saw the killer sleeping in their room, it gives the killer a stronger alibi. Unfortunately, they failed to secure that alibi.
Because I was in the lounge.
So the killer couldn't go back to their room, and ended up hearing the lounge's alarm.
But why'd you come out? You should have hid till the excitement died down.
If Gundam tried to hide, and if those two went to his room to check on him, he would have been found out. That would have been the worst possible outcome. That's why he couldn't just stay hidden.
If those two had just checked the deluxe rooms as planned, that would have been ideal, but how ironic. The moment Fuyuhiko set foot in the lounge, your plan was doomed.
Gundam? Please, can you at least say something?
Answer me this, including myself in my 4 dark devas of destruction. How many ears do we possess?
Oh, this should be good.
The answer is 10. That's right, I possess 10 ears. That means I have 5 times the hearing of a normal human. The soundproof system here may as well not exist.
Is that your argument?
Okay, I'm gonna do you the service of assuming that even you are aware that what you just said is really, really stupid. Yeah, I don't think you know how sound works. Soundproofing doesn't, just the strength of your hearing doesn't sound. This is one of those things that is like, it's so simple that you almost can't. It's like if someone says 2 + 2 = 5, you almost feel like you don't even have to explain it because it's just so blatantly wrong.
You bastard. Do you understand the situation you're in right now?
Do not panic. The truth shall now commence. At the time, I left my room to go to the bathroom. By coincidence, I heard the alarm. That's right, that's all it was. The world is always so simple.
Are you saying it was just a coincidence? Isn't that timing a little too perfect?
And yet, I'm being suspected by all of you. It seems it was actually horrible timing on my part.
So how about we talk about the fact that the only way anybody could have actually turned on the slate switch is if they used the 4 directives instruction you keep yammering on about.
You're still holding out. Well, you don't have to admit it. We're going to decide who the killer is with the majority vote anyway. So, why don't we just go ahead and start voting? It's obvious that Gundam is the killer.
Hold on a sec.
You know, Hajime, this class trial, this killing, it's merely the opening act, you know.
Typically, the opening act takes place before Chapter 4 of a story, but okay.
Hey! What do you mean the class trial is just the opening act?
Perhaps I should say, it's just a farce. Just a boring farce. So boring, so stressful. I'm so painfully bored that I might develop stomach ulcers.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody say the following words, so boring and so stressful, in the same sentence, back to back, unironically.
Seriously. Let's just hurry up and finish this before I collapse from poor health.
Nagito, something definitely happened to you. Didn't it? At some point during the investigation, your behavior became even weirder. What actually happened? Did you discover something?
Are we really focusing on this right now? How about we focus on nailing the killer?
Well, let's just leave that fun for later. And finish this opening act already.
You said opening act again!
Please hold on. We have yet to hear Gundam's rebuttal.
No, we heard his rebuttal. His rebuttal was, I have supersonic hearing abilities. Therefore, soundproofing doesn't apply to me because that's definitely how sound waves work, you idiot.
But he's completely shut up. Perhaps he can't argue anymore.
Gundam!
I was simply at a loss for words after being dumbfounded by your pathetic assumption.
It wasn't an assumption.
In fact, I shall deny the very basis. Your assumption has been wrong since the beginning.
And yet it took you almost 6 minutes to figure out how to counter it.
Since the beginning?
Based on your assumption, I hung Mechamaru from the 4th floor of the tower and made the floor descend to the 1st floor. From there, after returning to Strawberry House, I was present when the alarm at the lounge went off, correct? Although going to and fro is busy enough as it is, how would I be able to travel between both houses anyway?
Using the same pathway that Nagito used in order to switch between houses.
The contact elevator was broken.
As I recall, the killer tampered with the Great House control.
That doesn't matter. Nagito is living proof that there was a secret passage between the 2 houses.
Plus, the stopped elevator should have been.
That doesn't matter.
So, the human who used the elevator.
It still doesn't matter.
Reasons. It's an indisputable.
Forget the elevator. That doesn't mean you couldn't go between houses.
If the elevator was broken at Grape House, you wouldn't be able to return to Strawberry House.
Wrong!
I was already at Strawberry House.
Hey Nagito, you want to open that big fat mouth of yours again to help us save the day? Or do I have to do everything again?
Are you serious? And here I thought it's already been decided.
It doesn't take much brain power to counter this idea. You realize that, right, Kazuichi?
Have you learned your lesson, pitiful humans? You cannot overcome this contradiction.
I did it in 2 seconds. That's wrong. When something is obviously wrong, that's when a contradiction is born. There's such a thing as a contradiction that can't be overcome. Alright. Final round, I'm assuming. But here's the thing, I don't know how to actually...
That elevator was...
We're probably gonna need to absorb something.
To travel between the two houses.
Yeah, because we don't... We know that's not true, but we don't have anything to counter it. So I'm guessing...
Your assumption collapses.
Is Nagito going to say something in this testimony about how there's a secret passageway or something? Because if so, I need to be ready to absorb that.
If the killer cannot return to Strawberry House...
Since I was at Strawberry House at that time, there's no question that the following crime is impossible.
It would have been different if they had an accomplice.
Or if there was a secret passageway.
There was. Give me that. Give me
How much longer do you plan to lecture me?
Why don't we stop this already?
Fun, 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 fun. Oh, great. Now we get to go through all that again. Okay. So I thought Nagito would be the one to open his mouth because he was the one who actually used the secret password, but I guess it turns out it's Akane who merely, of all the people, Akane proposed the idea. Give me that. Thank you. Okay. Now we can use this to counter the fact that Tanaka's like this. It's the only means of travel between the two houses.
The only means of travel, but
No, that's wrong.
No, there should have been another way to move between the two houses without the elevator.
such a method does not exist.
Then why don't we ask the person who actually used that method?
I don't know why you didn't do that initially. Yeah, just literally ask Nagito and we're done here. You could have done that. You could have done that an hour ago.
Nagito, you should know.
What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. You appeared so suddenly that one time because you used that method, right?
But you're... After I opened the door and went down... Surprise, surprise! I ended up in the Monokuma Archive, which is on...
Meaning the third floor and the fourth floor are actually connected.
Plus, once you've cleared the final dead room once, you can pass through it as many times as you want.
If they used that secret passage, they could have gone between the two houses as much as they wanted.
Infinity Unlimited Flame!
Oh, here we go.
However,
Back at it again.
The killer was unaware of the existence of the final dead room.
That's literally impossible because the hammer and the wire were two objects that were not anywhere else in the funhouse, which means you could only have gotten them from the final dead room.
No way they didn't know.
Or the octagon, whatever. You could have only gotten it by going through that room.
It is merely an illusion you have.
No, I have
fabricated
proof.
From your own suspicion.
No, I have proof.
If you value your life, you should stop with your scrutiny.
There's no way I can stop.
Kid, you say? Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
You don't intimidate me, buddy. I hate to break it to you. Okay. The wire, which conveniently enough is auto-selected. Not that that's a surprise. Oh, now they're spinning! Oh, now they're spinning! Joy, 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 joy. Happy, happy, fun time, joy, joy. Now the words. Oh, and they're getting smaller. Oh, of course. Oh, my favorite. My favorite. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, no, not this again. Not this again. Okay, somehow we got it. Okay. RNG was on our side today.
The secret passage was at the octagon.
Know the limits of your own reasoning.
Okay, this is more like what I'm used to. They actually, you know, competent sentences, not just random small tiny words flying in every direction.
Drown in the maelstrom of blind confusion. At least pray to the key which dwells in the light.
It probably means try providing the evidence that the killer went to the octagon, right? Then what? Okay, so I have to. So I have to present it on that batshit crazy sentence. Okay, fine, fine, I'll do that. That's. I mean, you didn't need to. If you're gonna phrase it in such a way where you literally have to say, hey, by the way, he just means show me your evidence. Then why don't you just? You didn't need to. Okay. Also, now the rebuttal showdown, it has tiny, small words that spin around.
The
Fun.
hammer that looked like the weapon, and the chain on the door in the tower. Those are all the items that weren't in Funhouse.
The only place I can think of is the Octagon. There were various weapons and tools there. I'm pretty sure I saw stuff like wires, hammers, and chains too.
Since those items were used in the crime, there's no doubt that the killer went to the Octagon.
If that's the case, they obviously know about the secret passage too, right?
It seems this is the end. Normally we'd end up listening to Hajime lecture us with a very long summary of the case.
And we're still gonna do it again no matter what bullshit comes out of your mouth next.
There's no reason to waste any more time on this opening act, so I'm going to end this right now.
Although it'd be really nice if we could skip Panic Talk action.
Hey, what are you... First of all, by messing with all the clocks in the building, Gundam tried to lure only Nekomaru. The elevator was probably broken by that point. Thanks to that, Nekomaru wasn't able to go to Grape Tower, which was supposed to be the meetup point. So he tried going over to Strawberry Tower, just like we did when we found out the elevator was broken. Well,
If the
it's
twist
obvious
here
he
is that,
took that.
oh, I can't skip. Oh,
That time,
it's
he
oh,
didn't
it's
know
going by
the two
itself.
towers were
I
the
think.
exact same place. Also,
Yeah, I'm not even.
I
I don't even have auto mode on. It's just going by itself. Like, I'm just gonna put the controller down then. So, if the twist here is gonna be that they do, if they do two summaries, like we have to sit through this and the closing argument, I'm gonna be very annoyed. Oh,
Nekomaru didn't go to Strawberry Tower. What would the killer have done then?
Their plan was a balancing act of uncertainties. But even if they failed, they probably wouldn't have minded. They can just greet everyone the next morning as if nothing happened, and come up with a different plan.
And without such a risky plan, they wouldn't have been able to lure him at all.
I'm going to continue summarizing the case, okay? Through
oh
this,
joy.
Gundam successfully lured Nekomaru to
Can I?
Strawberry
I'm gonna
Tower.
skess past this.
What's
Oh,
wrong?
wait, because if we have to do a closing argument too, there's no point listening to him say it. By pressing the gun button, he rendered powerless without fighting him.
What's wrong with that?
Don't mess with me! Don't mess with me! I cannot ignore those words!
Oh, great, we hit the point where he goes insane.
Why are you angry all of a sudden?
You fools do not understand! You don't understand at all!
Alright, then clarify.
You make me laugh! After all this time, you still don't understand!
Are you gonna dance around some more, or are you gonna be specific about what you're talking
I don't
about?
understand anything. What does that mean?
It appears I cannot finish just yet. Maybe I'm just a human destined for hell. However, I cannot finish just yet. I cannot finish!
I'm just not even gonna. The comedic gold mine is here, but I'm not gonna bother.
What do you intend to do?
It's obvious! I'm going to destroy your illusory assumptions!
Oh, please do. Oh, do
You still
tell.
have more? You still have room to argue?
Your words. You said I pressed Nekomaru's goodnight button.
If you're gonna ask how, I have an answer. It's easy. You just use the 4 Dark Divas of Destruction.
However, that button was on the back of Nekomaru's neck. To press it, I'd have to get behind him.
Yep, and you did it with the use of your little
Not
hamsters.
easy to get the drop on Coach Nekomaru.
It's even more difficult if it's a one-on-one situation.
But it wasn't because he had hamsters.
As I thought, truly frail. Succumbing so easily to this simple argument.
You have the 4 Dark Divas of Destruction.
If you want to set me up as the killer, at least surpass your own human limitations.
That's wrong, Gundam. You're the one who's wrong.
Such a wonderful line. However, I cannot say that I'm satisfied.
How is Akane not beating the absolute shit out of him yet?
Listen well. I shall teach you 2 tips for making someone admit their defeat.
Oh, do tell.
First, you must crush them with your own overwhelming power. And as for the other, you must provide a reason that will persuade that human. You have not fulfilled either of those yet.
I guess you really don't want to admit it. Then just as you requested, I'll provide an argument that'll leave you no choice but to be persuaded. And now it's time for my favorite minigame, Panic Talk Action! Oh, I can't wait for this bullshit to emerge. I love this minigame so much. I don't Didn't we conclude the only way that we were gonna be able to beat this was just by sheer bullshit? Because the only thing that I'm hitting all 3 buttons and it's not reloading, so I'm just gonna use the fever thing and mash the X button because it's the only thing that works. Because like this minigame isn't functional at all. You saw me what's it? You see that the game is registering my inputs, but it's not reloading my ammo count or anything, so it just doesn't matter. It's not fixing anything. So it's just not well constructed, to put it simply. Okay, let's do this again. The only way I can beat this is just by mashing the buttons as fast as I can, because like it's not that I can't hit the buttons precisely. I can do that. The fact that the buttons turn green is a clear indicator that the game is clearly responding to my 4 dark.
Think I can get behind him so easily? For the Tanaka Empire! With trust that David prophesies, I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! With it's Nekomaru's back.
The 4 fuck!
Show me the cadaver! Amen! For the Tanaka Empire! I won't let you! For the Tanaka Empire! It's Nekomaru's back. Do you really think
the 4 Dark Divas.
This is the end.
The fact that they're turning green is a clear indicator that the game is responding to my inputs, but it's not giving me more bullets to actually shoot the shields with, so it's
You
just...
should have been able to press the button on the back of his neck. As long as you have the power of the hamsters you keep with you.
Oh? Are you seriously saying he used his hamsters to press the button on the back of Nekomaru's neck?
It would not be the most insane thing this series has tried to pull.
Of course it'd be impossible for a normal hamster, but it would have been possible for Gundam. In fact, we saw that with our very own eyes, right?
Hey, with your friends and their exceptionally smart brains, it must have been possible to secretly get one of them behind Mechamaru and press the button on the back of his neck.
How about it?
Not just myself, but you actually brought up how splendid my subordinates are. I have no recourse but to admit it.
Admit it? Did you say you admit it?
It appears I've obtained a one-way ticket to hell. Fine! Then you must trample me underfoot and advance. Victory can only be built upon a foundation of corpses. You cannot find peace without sacrifice anywhere. Now, trample this life. Trample it as though it were mere trash on the side of the road. Pull the curtain strings of this worthless performance with your own 2 hands.
Might be being a little bit overdramatic about this, but okay. Okay, that's a bit of a... probably the most graceful loss we've ever seen from anybody, but, you know, at least they didn't try to overly draw out the fact that, like, they didn't waste their time by trying to convince us they weren't the killer, despite the fact that we obviously know that they are, so, you know, there's that at least. Anyway, okay, well, I'll be here trying to solve this, so I'll see you guys in a few.
Here's everything that happened in this case. Let's first go over the many tricks the killer prepared before they committed the crime. First, they destroyed the contact elevator. This separated Nagito and the others in Strawberry House from our group in Grape House. Next, they lured Nekomaru out by himself by turning back all the clocks in the funhouse by 2 hours. Additionally, in order to secure an alibi, the killer went to the Strawberry House lounge and set the wall clock's alarm to 5:30 a.m. After finishing their preparations, the killer went to Strawberry Tower with the necessary tools in hand. They obtained these tools from the Octagon, which you can enter once you clear the final dead room. This means the killer discovered the secret of the funhouse faster than anybody else. That secret being, Strawberry House and Grape House are actually the same building. On the morning of the incident, Nekomaru woke up and headed over to Great Tower for a specific reason. There, Fuyuhiko, who was at the lounge by coincidence, witnessed Nekomaru. According to Fuyuhiko's testimony, that was around 5 a.m., but by that point, the killer had already messed with our perception of time. In actuality, Fuyuhiko witnessed Nekomaru at 7 a.m. That's also the same time Monokuma Tai Chi begins. Nekomaru went to Grape Tower to participate in that. However, because the contact elevator was broken, Nekomaru was unable to go to Grape Tower, so he decided to try going to Strawberry Tower. But the killer was waiting for him there. With the power of hamsters, they were able to press the good night button on the back of Nekomaru's neck. This forced him to enter sleep mode, rendering him immobile. From there, the killer began preparing to use the ultimate weapon. First, they set the alarm in Nekomaru's chest to 7:30 a.m. so he'd wake up. Then they tied him up with a metal wire, tied the tip of the wire into a loop, and hung it on the doorknob. After leaving Strawberry Tower, the killer then destroyed the door button to Strawberry Hall. They did this to keep us from entering Strawberry Tower, and to keep us from discovering the secret of the building's structure that they used to kill Nekomaru. Then, they used the secret octagon passageway to travel to Grape House. After arriving at Grape Hall, they pressed the button to open the door to the tower. When that happened, the elevator-like floor of the tower began descending. And Nekomaru's body was still inside, dangling upside down in midair from the wire. The killer entered Grape Tower to see if their setup was successful, and placed a hammer on the floor to look like the weapon, then wrapped a chain around the back door. This was done to make us falsely believe we couldn't enter the tower from Strawberry Hall. With this, the killer finished their setup and tried to go back to their room using the secret passage, so they could craft their alibi when Nekomaru died from the fall. But something unexpected happened. Fuyuhiko, who saw Nekomaru earlier, was still at the lounge. As a result, the killer couldn't return to their room, and with no options available, time ran out. The lounge's wall clock alarm started ringing at 5:30. Well, actually 7:30. To avoid a worst-case scenario, the killer was forced to appear in front of Fuyuhiko with the others. When the wall clock's alarm rang, that was also the same time Nekomaru was waking up. He woke up while he was still hanging upside down, so he couldn't help but sway his body powerfully. Originally, the loop of wire was only supposed to slip off the doorknob. But because there was a heavier load than expected, the doorknob ended up breaking. Nekomaru fell from the 4th floor all the way to the 1st floor. He crashed into the pillar, which decapitated him on impact, and died. The sound of Nekomaru's impact echoed throughout the funhouse. However, by this point, the killer's plan was about to fail, thanks to the broken doorknob and Fuyuhiko. Meaning, the killer is someone who wouldn't have heard the alarm if they were in the deluxe room. They also wouldn't have been able to return to their guest room, because Fuyuhiko was at the lounge. That someone is Gundam Tanaka. I can't think of anyone else but you.
It's still quite dumb that we had to listen to both Nagito and Hajime summarize the case, but whatever.
That was splendid. For a mere human, you did quite well.
Stop. Stop it already. Stop using weird words to avoid the truth. Or I'll friggin' kill you myself!
I cannot believe it. I just cannot believe.
I don't know why you all are continually surprised by this. This is the 4th time this has happened, where someone among your group has been a killer. Like, I don't know why this keeps surprising you.
You killed Nekomaru?
One of you had to do it. Why are you?
I cannot believe something like that.
Did you forget the first 3 chapters?
You don't wish to forgive me? Do you feel regret? Then finish it! Cast your impure votes for Gundam Tanaka! My beloved, deadly foes, let the voting time begin!
Alright, how badly did we do this time? Can we, one of these days we'll get an A. One of these days we'll actually get an A on this this is probably gonna be a B. Yeah, it's a B. One day we'll get an A. One day we'll get an A.
This result isn't all that exciting. Now then, please pull the lever in front of you and cast your vote. Who will be chosen as the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? Please pull the lever! Oh, crap! I bit my tongue at the most important part!
It'd be bad if I bit my tongue again, so I'll speak slowly. Judging from the results, you guys were correct once again. Getting 4 in a row without any mistakes is a splendid achievement. That's right, the one who killed the robotic Mechamaru in the amazing funhouse was Gundam Tanaka. Yay! I said all that without biting my tongue.
Now then.
Now that we decided who the killer is, let's do the execution already and get this over with. Hold on. It's true the class trial is finished, but that doesn't mean the incident is over. We can't finish it until we hear it from Gundam. No matter what he says, it won't change a thing. Well, I have no right to stop you either, so do whatever you like.
Why do you want to talk to the one who is lost? The loser merely leaves. It would just be unnecessary for me to say something, is what I would like to say, but for honor's sake, I shall correct one thing.
Correct?
You guys said I made Mechamaru powerless without fighting him. That, however, is a great mistake.
Huh?
Mechamaru did fight, that is no mistake. And because he fought, he lost and died.
Damn it!
Lost and died?
If he was just trying to cling to life, there are many ways he could have done so. However, he did not allow that.
What do you mean? Explain.
Fine then. Then I shall reveal it all. Within the final dead room, I discovered the secret of the funhouse, and I devised, a killing plan utilizing that secret. By tampering with all the clocks in the building, I succeeded in luring Mechamaru to the tower, and this is what happened. Mechamaru and I were alone in the tower, standing face to face with one another. I should say, I expected as much from Mechamaru. He sensed my subtle killing intent. You know, the subtlety from all the dark flames of destruction rising all around me. Very subtle, and instantly understood the situation. And we had ourselves a stare down. In that situation, if I wanted to run away, it would have been easy for him to do so. He could have run away, or even called for help, but he did not turn his back to me. Instead, he chose a fight that risked life and death.
A fight that risked life and death?
He was serious too. He gave it his all to try to kill me.
Huh?
If I had died instead, the mystery surrounding the case would have been even more complicated. You would never know why I, the victim, went to the tower by myself. Nobody would know that the victim, me, was actually the one who planned the whole thing.
Mechamaru really did that?
Sensing even my subtle killing intent, as expected of you, Mechamaru.
The scorching, stinging, tense atmosphere. I've been a team manager for so long, I'd nearly forgotten this.
Yeah, you could have forgotten he was a team manager because that has had no impact on his role in the game whatsoever.
This is great! What a comforting atmosphere!
That's a great one.
And what is your reason? Do you intend to resolve this situation by killing me?
I am the Warlock, Gundam Tanaka. Heroes, lords of darkness, and even the gods themselves flee from me. I do not cling to any trivial reason. I'm simply going to kill you because your very existence is an annoyance.
You'll drench your soul with evil until the bitter end, huh? Splendid! In response to your spirit, I shall kill you with all of my might. I won't go easy on you. Don't even think about holding back. Don't waste your breath on cowardly tactics. Give me everything you got.
So if they actually fought, how the hell did a giant metallic bulletproof robot lose to Tanaka? I mean, obviously we know that he just used the hamsters, but if we're to believe this was actually an honorable fight, how the hell did Mechamaru lose?
Mechamaru need I. Your blood will drench the foundation of my empire!
That is...
Why did you fight? We were all friends. Why couldn't you stop this? Even if both sides agreed it was still wrong. I will not argue. I have no intention of forcing my values upon you. However, I must say this. What's the point of living if you're just waiting until you finally die? There's nothing courageous about that. That is abandonment, a mere feeling of resignation.
Fall, my tears.
Ever since we were locked inside that building, everyone had been dominated by that feeling of abandonment. However, nothing is born from resignation. That is simply a reason to give up. Giving up on life is just an insult to life itself. Have you fools heard of the term dog-eat-dog? Cannibalism? In a zoology, cannibalism is a commonly observed phenomenon. Many creatures at some point in their lifespan engage in cannibalism.
Listen well.
That is what it means to live. If you say killing for the sake of living is evil, then what would you call giving up on life itself? If a world would consider that justice, then I will fight that world with every last fiber of my being. Giving up on life and choosing death is nothing but a blasphemy towards life. It is a violation of the natural order. It is the arrogance of humanity.
Are you saying all that just to try and justify what you did? But it sounds like Mechamaru felt the same too, that's why they fought, right? Ah.
That man had the courage to die when he needed to die. That is why he challenged me to our battle. Regardless, as I've already said, I do not intend to force my values upon you fools. I have betrayed you all. That is the absolute truth. But even so, don't you think it's better alternate to slowly starving to death here?
Oh.
That belief is why you committed your crime. Hey, what about the final dead room? Did you do the Russian roulette too? Unlike Nagito, I only did it once, but compared to my battle with Mechamaru, that was mere child's play.
Well?
You know, after listening to you talk for a while, I'm starting to think that, well, it's also because you unexpectedly admitted your crime without much resistance.
Gundam, don't tell me you didn't sacrifice yourself for our sake, did you?
I can't believe you would ask such a foolish question. That's who do you think I am? I am Gundam Tanaka, history's greatest monster. My cursed existence is feared by all mankind. There's no way I'd sacrifice myself for the sake of you fools. Not in a million, not in a billion, not in 10,000 billion years. In the name of... That's not how you spell that word. It is impossible.
Is that it? Then I'll just leave it at that.
Now then, let us be rid of this foolish talk. It's about time the fun started. Monokuma, let us begin!
Yay! Got it! I prepared a special punishment for the ultimate breeder, Gundam Tanaka.
Wait.
This is just too much. Please, Monokuma, please help Gundam. Miss Sonia,
Please,
I beg of you. Sonia, an act as unrefined as stopping a man from going to his death does not befit a noble such as yourself. Gundam!
It's fine to start for reals, right?
Yes, I do not mind, however... What is it, my four dark divas of destruction? Are you worried about me? Oh, my feared dark divas of destruction. That is not like you at all. However, there is no need to fear. In this world, I am only a temporary visitor.
I was simply visiting for a moment. And now that my duty is complete, I must return to the darkness. That is why, until the very end, pride, conceit, courage, insolence, fearful of nothing, daunted by nothing. Let us laugh uproariously! That is Gundam Tanaka! I shall stick with my evil until the very end!
Okay then.
Open sesame pandemonium! I shall fill hell with true hell!
Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time!
So, I don't know how I feel about that. Because, like, we know that Gundam just used his hamsters to turn off Mechamaru, but he's making it sound like that they actually had an honorable battle to the point where, like, they fought and it's like whoever won would be the one to die. Sorry, whoever lost would be the one to die. But in that case, like, if that were truly the case, and it wasn't just a case of Tanaka, like, cheating and using the hamsters to win, then I call bullshit, because there's literally no way that someone who's bulletproof would have lost against Hamster Boy over here. But, okay. What is this, Gravity Falls? That's oddly kind of actually, like, heartbreaking, like having to watch the freaking, that was, okay, game. So first of all, it's kind of heartbreaking having to watch the cute little hamsters like watch their owner just die in front of them. That's kind of actually really depressing. But also, showing him going up to heaven, that's extremely comical. Okay. Gundam! No! Even after Gundam is gone, the spirit of his parting words still lingered deep in our chests. Don't give up on life. Did I misunderstand what he meant? Then what's the right thing to do? I don't know. No matter how much I think about it, I don't know if I'll ever be able to answer that. Damn it. I'm so pissed off, I need to throw something. You all spent so much time worrying about each other, and thanks to that, things ended up like this. You're all full of shit, every last one of you. But the biggest piece of shit is me. Damn it, why am I so weak? You're not weak even in the slightest. It's such a downer, clearly, but still, even though we feel this way, we still gotta do our very best. You are right. This time around, we must move forward. We must continue to live and believe in our friends. If not, Gundam will most likely crawl his way out of hell, and I presume he will be very cross with us. You're right. We shouldn't just stand here. I mean, it's not like this is over. We still have to do it. We still have to finish this. For the sake of our friends who have died, we need to finish this once and for all. So, don't just stand there. Stand up and walk. Move forward. Live. If you don't, everyone who fought and died will have died in vain. We can't allow that. So, how long are you guys gonna stand around chattering? The class trial is over, so it's okay for you to hurry back over to Jabberwock Island. However, the killing exclusion will proceed as usual, so make sure you know that. Wait! Hold on! How much longer are you gonna keep doing this? Seriously, how long is it gonna keep doing this? How long is this going to continue for one more chapter, and then we get the final boss battle in chapter 6? If it adheres to the first game's structure. Now then. Alright, after feeling down for so long, I finally feel refreshed. You mean for feeling down for like 2 seconds? Let's hurry back and eat some food. Hey. Hold on a sec, that mood shift is too damn fast. I like that. Well, you know, it's like Gundam and Mechamaru said. That's what it means to live, right? Heh, she's certainly something else. But seriously, I'm starving. Hey. Then let's go back for now and eat. And then after we're full, let's sleep as much as we want. And then, let's do our best again. Yeah, you're right. With this, the class trial has come to an end, and once again we return to Jabberwock Island. The size of our group has definitely diminished, but despite that, even if it was just the rest of us, we did our best to stay upbeat and have fun together. Of course, our optimism was only superficial, but at that moment, we were able to forget about the dark despair looming before us. However, the only thing I was worried about was him. He wasn't there. He suddenly disappeared from our sight, and that he would be Nagito. Well, that's never a good sign. Yep, I'm definitely lucky. I never expected to obtain so many valuable things from a simple game of Russian roulette. Thanks to that, I was able to learn the identity of our true enemy. And before everyone else, too. But it's just too funny. I mean, no one could tell that I was lying. There's no way the file had Hajime's information. Well, I guess they were too busy with other matters. Or maybe they've reached their limit. Regardless, I was saved. Things would get complicated if they found out. Anyway, I can't forgive this. This should never be forgiven. There's no way I can let this run loose. I'll be the one who stops this once and for all, even if it costs me my life. For the sake of hope, I cannot ignore this. You just can't commit to anything, can you? Alright, Monokuma has arrived!
Who disturbs my slumber?
Now then.
Thanks for coming.
Why is it the lonely little Nagito? Are you all alone tonight too? So what's up? Your face looks scary.
I see, so you can tell.
Ah, perhaps you found out who the traitor is.
You know me well. is what I'd like to say, but unfortunately I haven't learned that yet.
I see. So even you don't know. Looks like the final showdown's gonna take a little more time. So, why'd you summon me anyway? Were you finally gonna confess your love?
I summoned you because there's something I really need to ask you. It's about the special prize from the final dead room.
Oh yeah, what about it?
There was information about 16 people in the file I received. But isn't that weird?
Say what?
What's weird?
Don't even
Well,
know.
there's a traitor from the Future Foundation hiding among us, right? Including that person, the total number of students would be 16, right?
Isn't that right?
But this file contains documents that were created at Hope Peak Academy, right?
Of course.
That's right. I just reused the stuff from the former headmaster spent a lot of time making.
If this file even contains information about the traitor, I just skipped some text I didn't want to skip.
no.
Let me read that again. Was that person also a former student of Hope Peak Academy?
I wonder.
Hey,
Could it be? Is this your doing? Did you slip false information into this file? Were you trying to keep us from learning the traitor's identity by obtaining this information?
What's wrong with that? If it's my job to heat things up, it's okay if I do something small like that, right?
That's not my point. My point is you already know who the traitor is.
What's wrong with that?
You're getting all
Well,
riled up.
you're splendidly correct when you say I knew who the traitor was all along. But even though I know who it is, why do you think I ignored it on purpose? It's just like Monome after losing her magic stick. The traitor's existence means absolutely nothing to me.
Their existence means nothing, huh?
No.
Well, that's just how I feel. I'm sure you guys feel somewhat different. After all, that person is the evil Future Foundation lackey who's putting you guys through this awful stuff.
No, that's not true at all because she's... First off, she's Chiaki. She's pure... She's the heart of gold. But the Future Foundation are the good guys, not the bad guys, so try again with that one. That's not entirely true. I didn't want to put it on auto mode. I didn't really come here to fight or anything like that. Instead, I came here to offer my cooperation, you know?
Huh?
Cooperation?
Your purpose is to fulfill everyone on this island with despair, right? That's why you're intentionally letting the traitor do as they please, right?
Yep.
If that's the case, I might be able to cooperate somewhat too.
right?
However, in exchange, I want to know who the traitor is.
I see. Interesting. Very interesting.
No.
Obviously, that's a big no-no. I mean, I want to make everyone in your group feel despair. That includes you, too.
Well, I knew you would say that.
Besides, I just wouldn't be able to handle the sadness when you inevitably betray me later on.
Haha, just as I thought you saw right through me. No matter what situation I find myself in, my core way of thinking will never change. In order to create absolute hope that shines brightly, stepwise such as myself and despair exist.
Woo-hoo-hoo, you're right. You're a true believer who, after all,
Despite the fact that he literally wasn't about an hour ago, but okay.
I must say, that belief reminds me of that person for some reason. Oh, does it now? See, that's funny, because his name is an anagram of Makoto Naegi. But that, Funny.
Huh?
Reminds you? I don't know who you're talking about, but if someone as worthless as me reminds you of some other person, they must be extremely unlucky. Ha 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 ha.
But you're just as unlucky, right? I mean, the fact that you're even involved in something like this.
Am I? I think I'm very lucky.
I don't know.
Wouldn't you say that coming across this much despair is a rather rare opportunity? I can't rely on anyone on this island. That's why I have to be the one who does it. If I can eliminate despair from this island, I won't be a stepladder anymore. I'll become true hope. I'll become an existence that could even be called the ultimate hope. Now that's Makoto. See. Could you be any more on the nose?
Woohoo! The two of you are alike. You definitely remind me of him.
Hey, there's one more thing I want to ask you.
See?
Who are you waiting for on this island?
Huh?
Looks like I'm right again. You're definitely waiting for someone on this island. Is the person you're waiting for already on this island? How many times can we say this island in a single paragraph? Well, answer my question.
If that's the case, if that person is already on this island, woohoo! Wouldn't that be exciting?
Oh boy, that's not intimidating at all. Alright, that chapter was good. That chapter was really good. Easily the best one out of the game so far. Which I guess to be expected because chapter 4 of the first game was also the best of that game. So, you know, kind of par for the course at this point. Setting, I mean, I'm still really pissed that they introduced the carnival, which is a perfect place to set a mystery, and then they just took them out of said carnival and shoved them in the funhouse for the whole case. But credit where credit is due, they did create a really, really creative setting within the funhouse after, like, once you get over the fact that it's just, like, it's like just poison for the eyes, essentially. And I never want to look at another strawberry or grape ever again after that abhorrently lit building. It was a very creative layout, very creative mystery, really, really smartly constructed. Cleverly constructed, and definitely the best in the game so far. So hopefully Chapter 5 will be as good as Chapter 4 and not on par with Chapters 2 and 3. But that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time to catch you all tomorrow for some more Danganronpa 2 Goodbye Despair. Goodbye.